Welcome, Strategy Battle Gamers, to another GBHL YouTube channel video. You are here with your GBHL channel hosts, 3 of them today. You've got GBHL James,
GBHL Steve,
and GBHL Jamie. And it's time for Speak Friend and Question.
Whoop. 140.
140, I think.
So you and Harry have taken the torch, carried the flame for the last couple of weeks, whilst I've obviously been slightly busy.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It is incredible. And thanks to any of you guys out there that have been sending me lovely messages throughout the whole pregnancy. All of you that are already daddies, including you, Steve, were absolutely right. It's incomparable. No. You can't compare it to anything else. So yeah, I'm probably not going to be doing a huge amount of these, and I'm quite tired, so I might get quite a lot wrong. So we've got loads of questions this week.
Yeah, jumping straight into it, we've got bmuls1214, and he says, "Hey guys, great video. I think that Azog and Bolg have way too high fight values, and they are extremely overpowered, considering they beat most heroes in a straight-up fight. In my opinion, they should be both fight 5. Azog and Bolg, at the end of the day, are just orcs, and orcs should never be a higher fight value than Aragorn or Boromir, who are stated as 2 of the best swordsmen in Middle-earth. Also, I don't think they shouldn't be a higher fight than Gothmog, because he is the leader of Sauron's legions, the most powerful evil army in Middle-earth. I get it that they're big baddies in the Hobbit trilogy, but them being fight 7 is crazy. They only need a 3+ to get to fight 10 in a heroic strike. Do you guys think fight 5 is reasonable?"
It's a very commonly held opinion, isn't it? When people look at the Hobbit strategy battle game, and especially they look at it also in the terms of Lord of the Rings era as well, because it's very easy to sort of compare to Aragorn or Glorfindel or all of these kind of big heroes and go, well, hang on a minute, why are these two orcs a higher fight value? It's a very so you're not on your own there. What do you guys think?
I think fight 7 is a bit too high for them personally. I mean, I feel Thorin should be able to go toe-to-toe with Azog and give as good as he gets, even though he currently just can't. Azog will slap him all over the place.
I quite like it how it is.
You use them?
Yeah, but that's not, that's not the reason. I like
you got credibility.
See, he's quite expensive though.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's quite expensive, so you're paying for it, and in the film he does kick Thorin's butt on numerous occasions.
I think that would be the argument of the rules writers, and is looking at it in terms of the movie trilogy itself, and that these are supposed to be 2 massively feared characters, that effectively the whole of Thorin's company are running away from for most of the movie. They don't stop and go toe to toe and kill this goblin. They're running away. So whereas in the game you could actually put Thorin's company down against a bunch of hunter orcs and Azog, and you would give it a good go. I think it's because we look at it not in isolation. I think we look at it and we do the comparison to older profiles, and it does feel like they are super good. From a game sense, as you say though, you do pay for it.
So you do pay for it. And the game is going to evolve over the next few years, so we may see other things actually catch that up.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way that it's going to go.
Yeah.
So next question.
Next question is...
Hang on the iPad, the names are at the bottom.
Oh, the names are at the bottom, okay. This is from War. Do you want to say it?
War!
He says, "Great to see you fellows back in action. The Loop is pleased. This week's Loop sustenance. The word on the street is Galadhrim, or Galadhrim, however you say it.
Galadhrim.
While helping a friend design a list for Galadhrim, I quickly realised that I was putting aside 3 decades of hate for pointy-headed elves and really falling in love with this faction. Just Galadhrim in mind, no actual wood elves, just Galadhrim warriors, knights, guard of the Galadhrim court. Only characters I'd consider would be Rummel, Haldir, a captain, a stormcaller, possibly the lady herself, and 6 knights, and the rest in warriors, 30 or so, including a banner. So, question is this a playable army? What would be some of the strategies I'd want to consider, and what would trouble me? A part of me is hoping you give me a bad review of this type of force, as my finger is poised to the add to cart button on the GW website. As always, a million thanks for making Sundays great again."
Are Galadhrim strong?
Yes.
Yeah.
Still never used them, and I've rarely played against them. I played against them, funnily enough, a couple of weeks ago in here against JT, and I won that one with Lake Town. Lake Town, uber cool at the moment. So probably you two be the best.
Lake Town are up on the top of the curve at the moment, aren't they? So
the Galadhrim, they're the ones that Tom Harrison always sort of champions. I like the Wood Elves and go in mass numbers, where he prefers the defense 4 and 5 to defend against hurls.
Yeah, especially in the current era of the game, where that's a big hindrance to the Defence 3 armies. He likes a mixture, doesn't he? He likes the mixture between the two.
Typically his archers are the cheap ones, and his fighting line is Galadhrim.
Yeah. Is it Galadhrim? Do you get similar options to Wood Elves? It's just that you're paying for the increased defence
So
as a base?
You pay for the armour, and the spears you take, you can't shield with.
Right, okay.
That's the only difference with them.
But they can take shields.
They can take shields, they can take elven blades, they can take the elf bows, banners are an option for them. They can't have thrown weapons, but they're not a big part of the game.
So going up in the defence is just going to hit your numbers a little?
Yeah.
Yeah, hit your numbers slightly, but I mean, with the amount of Strength 4, especially at a period of time for the game, Strength 4 became incredibly populated, as it were, as a part of the game. So that Defence 5 rather than Defence 4 or Defence 3 becomes a bit more useful again. I think the big thing with those type of Wood Elves and Galadhrim armies, though, is the heroes, and they've got heroes that are relatively cheap that can do a great role in the game itself. So as a result, you can actually take quite a lot of what are an elite type of troop. Fight 5, and Fight 5 is always going to be good in the game. So are Galadhrim worth it? Are they good?
They are good. The final part of the question, what will they struggle against, is they struggle against hordes, basically. Yes. If it's a horde at Lake Town is a nightmare for them, because your Fight 5 doesn't matter so much when there's a number of dice against you. Gondor hordes are probably the worst thing to come up against. Defence 6 is always tough to crack through, but having just so many guys at Defence 6, your bows aren't worthwhile, your heroes have to do a lot of work, and they can't really be given horses from the Galadhrim part of the army, so they struggle to really chew through them.
I'd agree with that, because that's what happened with JT. Eventually he couldn't roll 6s all the time.
Exactly.
And I also had Hilda's special rule, which he takes it like a lance rule, so I was able to take them down.
Okay, so we're going to go on to the next question. Were we going from the bottom?
From the bottom up.
From the bottom up. So next up, we have got David. David has put, having been at the wrong end of a resistant to magic roll of a 6 too many times, we all have. Pesky hobbits.
Hobbits.
It's the hobbits.
Watchers.
Yeah, absolutely. I was wondering if you think the rule could be better balanced at all. I was thinking that if a model has resistance to magic, then you are -1 on your casting dice. So Salamander White would need a 5+ to Sorcerer's Blast, a Watcher of Karna, or a Ring Wraith would need a 6+ to Black Dart, a Hobbit, etc. What are your guys' thoughts?
I think it works quite fair as it is now. I think I could. On troops, it's frustrating when they do get that 6. I think it's actually a little bit weak when it's on a hero, that you've got to deplete your will store to get it. Because most of the time you're like, right, do I throw? There's no who's the Glorfindel? With 3 will, it's like, right, do I throw all 3 will at resisting this just so I get my resistance to magic? Because throwing 2 at it's pointless because I only get 1 dice next time anyway. Or do I throw 1 at it hoping for 2 on the next one?
I think it'd be better. I see where you're coming from, mainly because it is frustrating if you are playing against Watchers or Hobbits in particular. You know, you go to do your Nature's Wrath.
For me, it's Thranduil, like channel Nature's Wrath against a bunch of Hobbits, and then go, this guy? Hey! It's like, oh, you son of a...
But then on the other side of the table, it makes an epic moment for them in the game.
Yes, it does.
Certainly does.
Yeah. When a little Hobbit resists the Elf Lord.
Yeah, and I think it's when it's on the troops, that's when it can be most, quite frustrating, especially when you don't see it on heroes. But like Jamie says, I mean, I would probably prefer resistance to magic probably being more widely available on heroes and being a little bit more like Fortify Spirit, but it gives you
just 1 dice,
extra to resist.
Yeah,
I think that
so you always get 1 that you can add your will to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you could choose to use 1 will plus your resistance
magic.
So
absolutely. So a little bit more like Fortify Spirit, because what we have seen, particularly in bigger points games of Lord of the Rings strategy battle game, is that big heroes tend to just get immobilised, transfixed out of the game, and I think that would be something which would balance that, and you'd want to bring some of those big heroes again, because resistance to magic would be that little bit better, without having to be unthemey and drop a Galadriel in for Fortify Spirit. So thank you very much for that, David. Next up we've got an army list, and it's fallen nicely.
Planned this better.
It is Stephen Bonar.
And he says, hi guys, really enjoyed the last Speak Friendly question. Thank you, Harry, for the great game at Preston, and Jamie, there will come a day when we shall play, maybe at the GT. I've decided the list for Stockport, so cheers in advance. What do you guys think? So these are 800 point lists, and
here we are, by the way, everybody.
And Stephen loves his orc hordes, in case you've not
played
him.
When I've seen his armies, they're very much like what we encountered on our first trip to Nova in terms of the kind of meta build, which kind of works well over here.
It's surprisingly, because we don't play it. So, Witch King mounted, 2 might, 10 will, 1 fate, 6 runners with shield, 5 orcs with spear and a banner. Then I'm running up captain with shield, and he's the leader of the army. 5 runners with shield, 5 orcs with spear, 1 banner. Gorbag, shield, 5 runners with shield, 5 orcs with spear. Grishnak, shield, 5 runners with shield, 5 orcs with spear. Taskmaster, 11 orc trackers. Orc shaman, 10 orc trackers. So the stats for it are 13 might, 68 models. You need 35 dead to break it, and you need 53 dead for it to be 25%ed.
Possibly extra might with the Taskmaster.
So 13 plus might,
Yeah, I think it's good.
It's a good list.
It's just a big long line of orcs that hit you with.
How long are our games at Desolation Stockport?
They are
2 hours,
2 hours 20. I think they're 2.5 hours.
Yeah. You sure?
Yeah, or 2 hours 15.
Okay, so that makes it not not as bad in that regard, because you're not going to get through that army in an hour 45. No way at all. I think those types of army are really grim to come. If you put that kind of horde in front of somebody, it's terrifying.
Especially like for me, it was always like when we went to Nova, I was like, these armies terrify me. I got my very small elite elf army. It's like I can't deal with. I'm great at shutting down
Big stuff.
a lot of big stuff, but against just chaff, heroes aren't good enough.
Yeah, I think he'll do, because he's quite a good player as well.
Yeah.
I think he'll do pretty well with it because of the meta over here.
Yeah.
I think he could rank quite well.
And then the good list for his other one is King's Champion, 10 Dwarf Warriors with Shield.
Good.
Shield Bearer, 10 Dwarf Warriors. Dwarf Captain, 10 Dwarf Warriors with Dwarf Bows. Then Young Barlin, 10 Erebor Dwarves with Spear. And an Erebor Captain, 10 Erebor Dwarves with Spear. Numbers on that is 9 might, 57 models, 30 to break, 46 to 25%.
57 dwarves.
57 dwarves.
57 dwarves, again,
They've got 2 banners in there, and it's a big spear wall.
Yeah.
They don't have shields so much, they are defense 6 on the most part.
Okay.
So you've got to take that into account. Like the Erebor dwarves, do they come with shield?
No, they don't come with shield.
So they're just spears. And there's only 10 dwarf warriors with shields, so there's only 10 defense 7. So it's not your typical dwarf army, but it's still a big.
Is it all strength 3?
All strength 3.
Okay.
But there's still 57 of them to get through.
Minimum defense 6.
Minimum defense 6.
I mean, defense 6 is still good, but it's not the strength of the dwarves, is it?
Yeah.
But I don't know how I feel. I mean, it's still pretty intimidating because the numbers, and you've got some decent heroes in that one as well, compared to the other.
Yeah.
Always, obviously, less worried about coming up against defense 6 than 7.
Yeah. Right. So.
I think
Good list, both good lists.
I think they'll both be pretty tough to take down.
Next up, we've got Addy N.
Addy N says, "Hi, my first questions." So what's he got to do?
You've got to ask a question every single week. Why?
Because then you're in the loop.
I already wrote, and you'll find it under this one, as I wrote. That doesn't make sense. My first questions are... right, okay. As I wrote there, I visited a tournament and a few questions came up. This second... The grammar's a bit off. This second question has to do with hurling. What happens if a monster hurls a model off a cliff into the water or down a chasm? With the cliff, I guess you measure a straight line from the monster and make it take a strength 6 hit. The hurl is now over and the hurled model is 10 inches over the ground. Does he then fall and take normal falling damage? And in the water example, can you be placed prone in the water, and what happens during the next move phase when that model wants to move? Can good models like Treebird hurl if there is a potential risk that other good models might be hit by the hurled model? If the hurled model hits a warrior in a fight, does it only hit the one warrior prone? I think does he mean
The fight of the warrior?
Yeah, does it make everybody prone in the fight? Sorcerous Blast is clear in this regard. Everyone in the fight is knocked over, but in the hurl section I can't find anything on this matter. Sorry for all the questions that popped up in my head during the tournament, and thanks for all the help. I think because Sorcerous Blast and hurl, they have similarities, that's where people get confused. But the rules are entirely different, really.
Yeah.
You can hurl when you hurl. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's whatever you hit.
It's just the line.
So even if you go clip someone who's in a fight, it's just them that gets
Just
hit.
that model.
Yeah, but in Torsus Blast, obviously, it's everyone in
It's
the fight.
everybody in it.
Yeah.
As for lying down in the water, at the start of your next move phase, you need to take a swim test with any negatives or positives you've got, and you have a potential for drowning if it's shallow water. If it's deep water, you take a swim test until you get out of it.
And if you get hurled into a chasm,
You're just dead. Yeah.
And if you get hurled off of a cliff, you go out and then you will take the required falling damage on the way down.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for that, Addy N. Hope we answered your questions well. Next up, we've got Red Cookster71. He's put, hi guys, sorry to say I haven't seen many of your videos over the last 6 months. Well, good that you're back. A little thing called life getting in the way of my hobby. Don't we all know about that? But now I have a bit more spare time and I've recently got back into the hobby and catching up with your content. I mainly collect and paint. Also, I like to build terrain when I can. At the moment I'm building Lake Town dwellings based on the GW design, and I'll be building a modular board eventually. I was just wondering on the size of a board to do, as I haven't got the new book yet, and how many houses to build along with Bard's Tower, Great Hall, and 2 towers connected via walkway over the water. Also, during the scenario, would you remove a dwelling to place Smaug during his movement phase? How would that work? Would I need a demolished dwelling to replace the building? P.S. I'll be building a few GW houses as well. Glad your channel is still going strong. Well, thank you very much for that, Red Cookster. So, in terms of
Size of board. For fire and water, it's 4x4.
Yeah, I always plan off when I'm building stuff, I always plan off 4x4 anyway.
Yeah.
If it's scenario specific, then there's different sizes.
Yeah. It's always safe to plan 4x4. That's what the game's meant to be played on, and that's what
it's a good
works
size.
best.
And how many pieces and dwellings would you recommend that he puts on his 4x4 table?
I learned a lot last year for building the amount of boards that I did, and I'm doing it again this year. And it totally depends what you want to go for. If you want to have more of an open, even play, then have less buildings and more walkways. But if you want to have those little corridors where, for instance, Smaug can't get down, which can be used tactically by the opponent, then have them. Have as many buildings as you want. And as far as taking buildings away for Smaug to get past, I would say no.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I think if you're playing that scenario just to play fire and water, you should build your board so Smaug can land in certain places, and that there are places that the heroes can hide.
Yeah.
Because there would be, like,
there would be in real life. You'd have little hiding place and bottlenecks and things like that where you can sort of use to your advantage against Smaug. But yeah,
I seem to have a memory of Devin on the DCHL Hobbit League when he did his Smaug battle report. If you're not going to check that out, go and have a little look. I seem to remember that they did a thing where the houses had batter points, and if Smaug sort of moved into them, then they would take like the strength 10 hit kind of thing, and that they then could be removed. So Smaug could, if he wanted to, focus on demolishing the buildings to give himself a little bit more room. Something a bit different.
That's cool.
I think it's
a good
cool.
idea.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Breathe fire on them to remove them.
Yeah.
Is this the set? Because I've seen some things on the Facebook group of the Lake Town houses made from coffee stirrers, and they look awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're beautiful.
I was looking at it and I was thinking I might copy that idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're the same guy, they look awesome. Well done.
Well, it most likely be right Wargaming Terrain making the DCHL stuff.
No, I mean on our Facebook
I saw
recently.
one. Yeah, he did a great job, didn't he?
Yeah.
With
It's like one that sort of.
you have to do a raid on Costa.
Yeah.
Or here now. Got any more of those stirrers? So thanks very much for that, pal. Next up, we've got Dominic Reese.
He says, in Sindarin and Kenya, the 2 Elvish languages J.R.R. Tolkien created, DH is pronounced as a TH, so Ostinedil would be pronounced Ostinethil, not Ostinedil. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's the Galadhrim one, isn't it? Or the Galadhrim. It's supposed to be Galadhrim, but most people say Galadhrim. Wrongly.
Then Saruman the White just says...
Meme.
Is that referring to something?
I don't know. No. Nothing in the last episode.
Do you want me to set the next one?
Yeah.
The next one is from Dominic Harris. And he says, hi guys, loving your content as always. Missed the cut-off point last week. Trying to make amends for not asking in a long time. Haha. My question today is about the balance between model count versus hero stroke special units in a 500 point or smaller game. My Mirkwood 500 point army consists of Thrandur, King of the Woodland Realm, Toriel with an elf bow, 18 Mirkwood elves, 6 times shield, 5 times glaive, 6 times elf bow and banner. and 3 Mirkwood Rangers. I was aiming for having a decent amount of models to pack quite a punch with all the heroes. Should I drop Thranduil and the banner for more troops? Any advice would be greatly appreciated.
So this is 500 points and new Mirkwood, yep?
Yeah.
It's a tough one because I've used this and I've had the same dilemma.
Yeah.
500 points is a tough.
500 and 600 are horrible to write for.
Yeah.
Like, especially with that list.
With elves, you just don't get a lot. They're expensive, you don't get a lot.
Typically, like, because for the back rep Damien and I did, we were trying to write a 600 point Mirkwood elf list, and we were like, right, you get Thranduil, you get Legolas, you get near enough full warbands, and then you're like, it doesn't feel like many numbers. So you go Legolas, Tariel, full warbands, and then you've got like 80 points left over that you can't do anything with if you stay in pure.
Yeah.
And this is 500, so maybe Legolas, Tariel, and full warbands.
He's got a couple of rangers in there as well, hasn't he, did he say? At the end.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't, unless it was just for pure theme, the look, maybe it might be the only models you've got, I wouldn't have put the rangers in there, because they're too expensive.
They're expensive.
And I'd rather just give Mirkwood elves a bow.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if they're your only bow fire, then you're not going to use their special rule, really, because they're going to be sat back, shooting. So
I'd not using the knife.
Yeah, just do some more normal Mirkwood elves, possibly.
Being able to reach defense 6 in that list is so good.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things the elves struggle with so much and have them for a long time is that defense 6 has been the high elf thing.
Yeah.
But now that the wood elf heroes have access to defense 6, I think they're going to be a real army to look out for.
Yeah.
And they look awesome as well.
They do look so cool.
Yeah.
They certainly do. So thank you very much for that, Dominic. Hope that we helped. Next up, we got the best Speak Fame and Question host of all time, Lucas Whitcroft White.
Oh yeah.
Hey, buddy. He's like, hi guys, I love Galadhrim so much, and I want to use them a lot. I've embarked on a project to repaint my Galadhrim and put them on broken White City bases, which are of course from our friend Generation Shift.
I've not seen them.
Good
No,
job.
I know, right?
My question is, what colour scheme should I do for my Galadhrim? GBHL Damien's Mirkwood Elf colour scheme or an autumnal colour scheme? What do you think? Also, when will the 2 tower scenarios come out on the channel? Thanks, and can't wait for the GT. Well, we'll also see you at the GT because it's in a week from this
Next
video.
week?
Yeah. So colour schemes, what do you think for his Galadhrim?
It's funny you mentions it actually, because I in the next couple of weeks I'm going to be painting my 2 boxes of Rivendell Knights, which I've had since they were released and they've just sat there.
Yeah.
It's on my list to do and I'm going to get them done. I've been toying with the idea of cutting the cloaks off and redoing the cloaks because I don't like the cloaks.
Oh yeah,
I hate the cloaks. I mean, that's what
resculpting them.
Yeah, I think that's what I probably won't because it's too much effort. But I seen someone put an elf on the Facebook group and they did silver armour with cream cloth, cream cloaks, and they looked awesome. So I'm gonna steal that idea. You're welcome to steal it as well if you want. But I think that looks really nice. I like something different for the Rivendell Knights. I like yours. I like your Rivendell Knights. I like different from the GWs.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, I didn't realise. I mean, I went for my colour scheme purely off of the
Red Notes.
Well, you know, if you look at the artwork, if you type in Rivendell Knights, you know, from The Hobbit, they look like they've got deep red cloaks and they've got silver armour. But actually, in the GW artwork, they've got black cloaks on a lot of them.
Yeah. Some it's red and black, it's a mix.
It's a little bit of a mix, isn't it? So it's always nice seeing different schemes. I think people, when it comes to elves, they do tend to think of seasons.
Yeah.
Because if you watch the wetter stuff, that's what they talk about. Oh, these are elves in the spring of their time for Last Alliance.
Yeah.
You know, if you wanted to do them slightly later, you could go for a summery kind of colour scheme, or then you've got that autumnal with the reds, the oranges, the browns, that kind of side of things, or even maybe
the winter like blues and whites.
Blues and whites.
I like the brighter colours on elves.
Yeah, I think so. If you want to see Lucas's Galadhrim in action, we actually did a battle report on our channel. Yep. Battle of the Silver Load. Type it into YouTube, go check it out, and you can see our man Lucas Whitcroft right next up another army list for Jamie.
Who is it this time? It is Galadhrim.
There's a theme. There's a theme to this.
Thanks for your thoughts on potential new missions, guys. Jamie, I agree on the whole idea of weighted range for roll-off or game ends, etc. So something we were discussing last week.
Yeah, I heard it's a good idea.
Was let's say the 50-50 is the most frustrating part of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it can be. There's a lot of it.
There's so much of it around that you go, right, who wins the game? You were going to win this game. We were saying that maybe if you won the last roll-off, the other person gets it on like a 3+.
Okay.
So that way it should, in theory...
Rather than the same person
winning the roll-off just on a straight 50-50, it then goes, right, do I actually want to contest this one? Because if you had the last heroic, I've got a better chance of winning this next heroic.
That's quite cool. Not to suck up to the Steamforged guy either, but my favourite mechanic in Guild Ball
The momentum
is the momentum, and doing things in the game which create a resource that you can then spend on something which would otherwise pretty much be a roll-off and completely random. So, you could do. I'm not sure whether they will, but you could do it in the Lord of the Rings, where if you achieve specific things over a game turn, that you build up this resource that you could then put towards either 50-50 rolls or priority rolls, or the like. So I like that idea.
The other thing we were talking about was that the Game of Thrones card game is a very cool mechanic where you play a plot at the start of the turn, and that has an initiative value, monetary value, and something else, and you get the benefits of that card and the ability it has on it. But like a very strong card will have a low initiative, so that the opponent then goes, right, well, I get to have initiative this turn because I played the high initiative card, because I need to go first to do my alpha strike, but you've got good resources this turn. So I thought something cool like that would be cool. Instead of rolling a dice for priority, let's say, playing the initiative cards that say maybe I win initiative, but on roll-offs I'm at -2 or something.
Yeah, it could be interesting.
Just something like that would be cool, just to change up the mechanic and make it a little bit more tactical rather than heroic move.
Yeah.
Roll a dice.
Especially considering that one of the things that can and has put off people who played Lord of the Rings in the past, although we all love the game, is the idea that you used to say it a lot, that it was like a game of sixes. In that sense, but what you actually see more of is it's not necessarily a game of sixes, but there are a lot of 50-50 roll-offs across the game. The heroic move off is inevitable. The heroic strike off is inevitable. You both roll, your strike off to 10. You have to 50-50 it. There's so many 50-50 roll-offs in the game.
It says, like I did, it has a range on it, but it's important to give your players tools to work with to stop it being so binary, which is why Might is such a fantastic mechanic. On the topic of Might question this week, there was an army that won an 800-point tournament down here, down under, a while back that was really different and yet made lots of sense when you sat down and looked at it. Would love your thoughts on it. Sorry, Jamie, it's a long army list, but I do think you'll find it interesting. For God's sake. So 800 points. Oh, this is... Alright, what? Okay, listen to this for a list. Urukai Captain with Shield, 1 Feral Urukai, 2 Urukai Scouts with Shield. Lurtz, 1 Urukai Scout with Banner and Shield, 1 Feral Urukai, 2 Urukai Scouts with Shield. Ugluk, 1 Urukai Scout with Banner and Shield, 1 Feral Urukai, 2 Urukai Scouts with Shields. An Urukai Captain, Bow, 2-handed weapon, 3 Urukai Scouts, bows. Urukai Captain, Bow, 2-handed weapon, 1 Feral Urukai, 2 Urukai Scouts with Shields. Vrasku, 3 Urukai Scouts with bows. An Urukai Shaman, 1 Feral Urukai, 2 Uruk Scouts and Shields. Mahur, 1 Urukai Scout with Shield. Grishnak, 4 Mordor Orcs with Spears. 800 points, 36 models, 11 shots, and a whopping 22 might.
It's not a really... at 800 points, it could be. It's not a really low model count, is it? I wouldn't mind playing that with my Rivendell Knights because of all the Defence 5.
Yeah. It's a strange list. It's like a hero, 3 guys. A hero, 3 guys. But it continues on here.
Maelstrom of Battle could mess you up.
Yeah. Or you mess someone else up. All those heroes arrive in one place. Like 5 strength, 5 heroes.
Yeah.
It looks like total bananas, but when you think about it and see it in action, it actually works surprisingly well. There are 9 heroes with some ferals to back them up, and they can just rip through troops with fight 5 and strength 5. Banners and some spears sitting behind them with 22 might in the tank. They work well when you split them up as well, because you've got might literally everywhere, and casters or big heroes can't shut them all down, and critically, there's still enough models to cover objectives and the like. It's still an army rather than an all-hero force, and I saw them striking up and shielding with Lurtz and a captain to tie down big heroes for multiple turns, while the rest of them won the game. It was quite funny to watch. Mobility from all the scouts would be quite handy as well. It's really, really different from anything I've ever seen, but the more I look at it, the more I like it, the concept. What do you guys think? Cheers from the land down under.
I think that's what it is, because it's so different.
Yeah.
It's like, even just trying to think about playing it in your head.
It's an interesting concept, because like you would tie down big heroes, but you've got so much might that your caster, as soon as you get like sort of 2 heroes close by, and I assume the scouts, you said with mobility, they'd be Mahur scouts, so moving aids. That you threaten so much, and you have, it's saying like to begin with, the roll-offs, you would outlast all the might on your opponent's side with all that might. and then you just control the game from then onwards. And it's only sort of the Aragorns or Master of Battles that are going to continue to even contest.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of list that's going to be a hard counter to a lot of things. You know, you put something on the table, and somebody puts that across the table, and unless you've got the tools to deal with it, and you weren't expecting it, then it's going to be a really, really hard game. Because as we saw in the last comment, might is such a great resource in the game, and if you can win the might battle, then that puts you in a fantastic position, particularly in the late game. I look at it and I think, Elven shooting, Sorcerer's Blast.
Elvish shooting is going to hurt it so much because you just go. You've got so many heroes. Right, I'll go for Maher first. He's 3 attacks, movement 8. Get rid of him, and then you just start going down the hero line and going right. Well, what's the next one to go?
Yeah.
And just fire all your shots into that.
Yeah.
What scouts defense for the scouts? Shield 6,
5. So
that's the thing, and a lot of those heroes are defense 5 as well.
Yeah.
So
I look at it 2 wounds, 1 fate.
I look at it from my sort of most competitive army point of view, and I look at that and I think if that came across the table for me, I've got the tools to deal with that. But I can imagine if you put something down and you didn't have a bunch of sort of strength 3 bows and the mobility to get away from it.
I guess similarly that if they deploy on the line and they've got so much might there to march and engage with you,
get in your face.
Yeah, true.
Just get in your face, and then you've got to use your precious. The army's only got 8 might in it. You're then using Legolas's might and Sauron's might to start moving just to get away from them because they can get that jump on you because they've got so much might. And if you kill 2 heroes in a turn, they've still got 16 might available.
Yeah.
So
yeah, maybe
it's an interesting concept.
Maybe we should do it on a battle report sometime.
For a laugh, So the next question is from Cobbs1991. Is that Bradley Cobden?
Could be.
I think.
If it is you, hi Bradley.
He says, thanks for answering my question last week. Here's my question for this week. I find it odd that the Sharku profile doesn't automatically come up with a warg, and you have to pay to mount him on one. I'm not saying he should get the warg for free, but it surely should be included in the base war gear price points for him. Are there any other profile anomalies that stick out for you?
Does he not come with the warg with base? I thought he's 45 points and then 50 with the shield and he gets the warg.
I'm not too sure. I've never put him in a list, so I don't know.
Oh. I thought he did.
Well, he actually comes with the...
Do you two what discuss it? I can find out.
Yeah, sure.
There we go.
Any other anomalies? So
I was always I always thought it crazy when you used to tell me about Warg Marauders, the fact that the Warg...
Oh, the warg is just one piece.
It's one model, so you can't do anything to
that
sort of
seems
dismount.
so wrong, doesn't it?
And it just, that seems...
It just stands up and goes poof again.
It just seems really wrong. It doesn't seem to fit anything else in the game.
It just breaks the way the cavalry works.
Exactly. So that seems like something which is wrong to me when I see Warg Marauders.
Sharku is the Isengard.
Yeah. From a model perspective, where you want the model on something, but it only comes elsewhere. So a mounted version of a hero that's only on foot, that kind of stuff's.
Oh yeah, so like Gil-galad and stuff like that.
Yeah. Where at their best, they're mounted with the shield, but they just release like that. So
yeah,
it's separate. So it's 45 points.
Oh really?
And you pay for the warg and the shield.
Oh.
No, interesting. So there we go. Any profiles that you think are a little bit strange when you look at it and you look at sort of war gear or
what they should be.
Yeah.
Just like the ones the Warg Marauders stick out first off, and then like your alert stuff that isn't as it should be.
Oh, so like having the bow and shield, but not getting the defence and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So next up we've got Nathan Van Til. So a question about when you guys produce your battle reports. You'll be able to join in with us after we've got a new member of the battle report team here. When you have to use each other's models in an army filled with, for instance, some of one person's Uruk-hai and another person's Uruk-hai, how do you tell the difference between the millimeters? Do you just mark them in, I guess you mean models. Do you just mark them in some way? Just curious that, and couldn't think of any other questions.
Okay, so like if it was an Uruk-hai versus an Uruk-hai battle, how do you tell the difference between the two different forces? Well, typically the paint schemes are a little bit different enough to notice.
Yeah, like the bases are a bit different.
The big one is the bases.
Yeah, bases is a big
one. No
one.
one seems to base the same, especially in our gaming group. They're all a little bit different. So that really helps define who it is. And that's hopefully a visual cue for the guys who are watching at home. They go, right, the muddy bases are my models and the grass bases are James's models, that kind of thing.
I don't think we've had many bat reps where it's
The
Something like that. Anyway, we try and avoid that.
I don't think, have we ever had a battle report we've had two of the same? That's interesting. I don't think we've ever had.
I think we have.
Blue and blue.
It's always tried to go. I think we've had like blue and blue, but we've never had the same.
You know what I
faction.
mean? Yeah, like blue and blue in that regard. It's not like.
Could be good.
Because we're not competitive when it comes to bat reps. Anyway, it's more entertainment side.
Yeah, although I have to admit, like my last few on the Hopgates game.
You're going to be a bit of a name for yourself, James.
But it's my only time to get to play the game, so and because I want to try and compete, which is maybe a little bit mean in some ways, but it's the only time I get to practice my army. So I think it's interesting. Though you say about the bases. Apart from now, I suppose with Generation Shift,
everyone's going to have
you could probably take. I think I could probably get like. If I got your bases out, my base out, Thomas Harrison's, and Damien's. Probably not Harry's because I've not seen Harry's as much. If I put those out, I could tell who's were who's.
Yeah,
I could tell, which is quite interesting, I suppose. So thank you very much for that, Nathan Van Til. Next up, we've got Ollie Carter. Not an army list this time.
Nope. Hooray! Hey guys, thanks for the feedback. Very helpful. Yeah, when we playtested it, Galadhrim was. Did any of you watch last week for any question?
I've not seen it.
We were custom profile.
These are the custom profiles for like Galadhrim. Galadhrim had +1 to win the fight and +1 to wound with three or four attacks or something, and we were like, nah, you got to take that +1 to win off. You can't win on 5s when you got like 3 might in the bank. Galadhrim was well too overpowered and managed to kill Sauron in one game. So yeah, not having that. Anyway, I will try to ask questions. However, as well as being a loyal hobby supporter, I am an international para swimmer and swim for Scotland. #Go Scotland.
Good man.
In fact, I'm currently in Ireland competing at the Ulster International Meet. So as you could expect, I haven't got a lot of free time to ask questions this week, but I will when I can. Fortunately, we missed a week, so you should be back, and I hope that all went well over there for you. Yeah. My question this week is regarding to that +1 to win combats. What do you think does deserve that, if anybody, and at what cost? Then second bit, I agree with Harry and think Aragorn and Elisar need something like that to compete in the new Hobbit era. Thanks again and keep up the great work.
So that's +1 in the duel.
+1 to win the fight in the duel role. So like effectively,
one of the dwarves has got that +1 to win the fight and +1 to wound. Is it all?
No. So it'll be re-roll.
Nori has got a re-roll 1 in the fight and re-roll 1 in the.
That's re-roll, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is fine. I think +1. It comes back to what you said before, and definitely shouldn't be on Aragorn in any form because he's got 3 might. Yeah. He wins on a 4+ all of the time. I think +1 is on it, unless it's a 1 attack hero.
Yeah.
You could maybe do it on a 1 attack hero, but I think on a 3 attack hero, no. With might, no. Unless it's a no might hero.
Maybe, yeah.
+1. That's
King of the Dead or something.
Yeah, it's a huge sort of potentially game-breaking mechanic. That one.
It's got to be on a single, probably a single attack. Very few might hero, very little might hero. I think.
Even if they've got this, if it's 1 attack and 3 might, that's fine because they need to roll a 4+ to spend a might to win a fight.
Yeah.
So I think that's fine. But I think as soon as you start getting multiple dice that applies to.
Yeah.
The odds multiply up so much so that you'll get that 5 to get a 6.
Who was it? Someone else was talking to me about custom profiles. I think it was at the Preston event, and they suggested one for the King of the Dead.
Yeah.
That he should have because he's a bit naff. He should have a special rule where he can make you re-roll your duel.
Oh,
cost him a point of might, but makes you re-roll it.
Oh, for him
so if we roll, you roll a 6 out of the 5.
So like Rummels, but expending his will.
Yeah.
That's
instead of
a fair rule because that's like you can still get multiple dice in there against him to try and negate that, and it's a limited usage only.
I think the courage thing would be quite cool because to tie in with the theme of it being the Army of the Dead and that. So maybe almost slightly going towards that. Now that I've played with the Golden King, something that's similar-ish but not the same.
You could have it in a fight. You could have it Horn of Gondor.
Yeah, like a Horn of Gondor.
Horn of Gondor just takes 1-on-1. Like if you're fighting him, to even attempt to strike him, you need to take a courage test. You pass it, and now you can.
And then he can spend a secret number of will to try and reduce your courage to fight him. I think that'd be
reasonably cool. Gives him a reason for having all that will.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Stuff like that'd be cool.
Next up's one at the bottom there, the G.
The G
hi,
is from Gloucestershire Hobbit League. Hi Harry and Jamie, great show. We will keep you informed on the progress of Captain. my unnamed captain. Although we're in Gloucestershire rather than East Anglia, I'm assuming that refers to
Probably made a
something
mistake.
else.
It's 2 weeks ago. I don't remember. In all honesty.
Did this one go up on Sunday? I thought this one didn't.
No, this one we missed a week.
Oh, did you? He says, keep up the good work and maybe fall on the fat and get a rematch with his arch nemesis, Fatty Bulger.
I think that was maybe something happened in Harry's game. I think they had a fatty off.
Okay. And that's pretty much it. Do you want me to read the next one?
Nice, we'll move on to it, yeah.
Stephen Bonner again. 110 point Mordor and 80 point Gondor. 110 Mordor and 80 Gondor in 2016 in January. Oh, I'm assuming this is what he painted, right? Yeah. Okay. In January 2017, I've painted 85 during this fight. Wow. 24 Iron Hills dwarves.
In 2017, he's done 85 already.
That's crazy.
In
January.
What are you doing with
Champions
them?
of Erebor. 133 so far this year.
What are you doing? You just got like bolt gun metal spray and then
ink
and then skin.
Dry brush
Faces,
highlight skin. Yeah.
With plans for 4 to 5 armies of 100 plus models this year. It's insane.
I've done like 11 or something.
That's
Not
crazy.
even that, I don't think. Amazing. Next up, we have got Bragato Capelli. He's put, hey, me again, thanks for answering my question about heroic accuracy. And well done for pronouncing my display name. How did you say it? Because you're quite good
I
at it.
don't know. Let's have a look at it.
Bragato Capelli, I put.
I think it was this Bulgarian guy. I can't remember how I pronounced it, but I think I remember reading this because I was quite interested in his name. He's not actually from. He's moved away. He's moved to Bulgaria or something.
Oh, okay. I'm actually an expat and I'm not Bulgarian, but you just spoke Bulgarian probably for the first time. So now I'm going to try and keep asking a question every week to keep in a loop. Well done. But first of all, though the models that I would like to have brought back is the Dalamir Bosun captain for the Corsairs, they're so hard to find.
Back. I really want Dalamir back. He's a cool model.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Dalamir. So question time, and it is more general one this week. I miss brawling at Barleyman's. Is there a plan to bring this back, or has that ship sailed? Thanks again, and thanks for the brilliant content as always. Brawling at Barleyman's.
Yeah. James is very, very busy at the moment. He's got his hands full, and brawling at Barleyman's is James's other little baby. So I think once he's got a bit more time.
Well, we're going to try and meet up next week,
yes.
and I think that probably would be a good idea if we're doing GBHL content. Is just to do loads of them, just loads of them, because it is. I agree, it's great content. Like from a fun point of view, it's really good for beginners. I think
it's
just
quite
the
easy
mechanics.
to film as well, isn't it?
It's quite easy to film. It is not easy to edit because it's not as easy.
There's got lots of graphics and things in there, aren't there, I suppose?
Sorry, I tell a lie. It is quite easy to edit. It's not that. It takes ages to render because it's green screen throughout the whole thing. And when you've got green screen throughout the whole thing, that's why doing Speak Friend and Question actually with a green screen background and doing long talk shows with it. This is this will go up dead easy. If this was a green screen background, we put ourselves in the Minds of Moria, it takes forever.
Our Minds of Moria poster.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's not getting cloth backgrounds. Getting cloth backgrounds or printouts would be much better for those types of regular backgrounds because that's the thing that takes a while. But I would love to do that next week.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
And I've got
some good heroes coming. I spoke to you about earlier.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to do some cool things.
Necromancer.
Oh, we'll chat about some matchups. But if you've got matchups that you want to see, why don't you put them in the comments below? And for Speak Friendly Question next week. So maybe all of you, when you ask your question, put matchups that you'd like to see, and me and Steve will see that, and we'll try and get some done. So thank you very much for that. Next up, Smiley Face 1717 at the bottom.
It says, in regards to the discussion on scenario modifications from last week, so that's we're talking about the new scenarios for GT. What do you think about removing leader VPs in all scenarios and instead giving the entire army -1 courage or some penalty if their leader is killed?
So
I can see the benefits to it, but at the same time, I also think your enemy's leader being a target worth going for and getting something for it is good. Maybe just one VP whether no VPs for
I think they've done that with a lot of them, haven't they?
Quite
It's not as
like
important.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Which is much better.
Some of them it's just if you wound or kill, it's 1.
Yeah. Which I think is because it's still worth
still
doing
important.
it to get it. But
It stops you the situation where you just hide your general for the whole game because you're so worried about losing the 3 VPs. It's massive in a lot of the scenarios. It's massive. Whereas in the new ones, it's actually more of a secondary objective.
Yeah.
That actually you focus on the other ones. I think that's much better.
Yeah.
Like, much better.
But how do you think if it was take away the leader VPs and the entire army suffers -1 courage or a similar penalty?
Did it for league final. Okay, can you remember there wasn't any lead of it? It's a long time ago.
So if you lose the leader, your army's...
Oh,
Remember,
everyone immediately takes a courage test, and if they flee, they flee.
Yeah. So it was like a different way of breaking almost. So if your leader was killed, it was just like your whole force had broken
For that one turn only.
For that one turn only. I thought it was quite cool. I mean, it could be a bit clunky, but it was different. Different.
Yeah.
So next up we've got Ian Marley.
Here we are.
Ian Lord Marley.
Ian Lord Marley, sorry.
Ian Lord Marley says, we have a shiny new book now with shiny profiles. A lot of these profiles don't have models. Which of the profiles would you like to see a model for next? And which of the profiles do you think possibly need a model the least? So not too bothered about seeing one just yet, and why? 1, 2, 3, go.
What's this? I'm going to read that.
Models that we're looking forward to the most.
Yeah, so the profiles that are out now, what do you, in the new book, what models do you want to come first? What are you most excited models-wise to see? Not necessarily because of the profile, but because the model's going to look...
I know it's probably not as important. It's not as important because there's currently a model for it. I can't wait to see Thranduil on Elk, a new Thranduil. I really don't like the old Thranduil model.
Yeah.
And this, I'm sure, is going to be, based on everything that we've seen so far, is going to be one of the nicest wargaming miniatures ever. I honestly think that.
For me, it's Stumpy. I want to see that model. The running troll.
The trolls.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I'm with you with the Thranduil because I really dislike it now. I wasn't too keen on it when it come out, and I think now because I kind of, I've got an inkling that there's one coming. Every time I look at it, I dislike it more and more. I'm just like, hurry up and release it. But barring that, probably the trolls with
We're going
the
for those ones.
glaive things on their arms.
Oh, yeah,
trolls.
well, they've seen models, haven't they?
I've bet.
They were spotted at games day.
What's that?
They're out there.
Where's these pics?
The Ram Riders.
Put a link below.
Yeah, well, Ram Riders are out as
Yeah,
well.
Ram Riders.
Yeah, I've seen them and they look
I think they're
amazing.
going next because they seem to be doing. I think they're going to finish Iron Hills and Gundabad.
Yep.
And then move on.
And which profiles do you think need a model the least? I think the catapult trolls need it the least.
Yeah, because you're probably not going to see.
Yeah,
maybe.
Because I want
to see the warbats. I want to see the new
warbats
bats
look cool.
because bat swarms are awful.
Yeah.
I want to see what they do with the warbats.
Warbats.
I think they'd be quite cool. I think they'd be quite cool looking miniatures.
I just think they.
Saying that, the Lake Town characters.
Yeah, like Hilda. And
Yeah, they're going to look cool. Percy's going to be awesome. There's nothing for me that's like I'm not that bothered about seeing it because I'm excited to see them all.
I'm excited to see it all.
Yeah.
Just even to sort of judge it and say I'm not getting that.
Goblin mercenaries, I'm excited to see.
Oh yeah, I want to see them. Next up, Johnny Wright.
Oh, Johnny Wright. He's part of Manchester SBG.
Yeah, he is.
Manchester.
That's the high elf.
Hello. What was the first model each of you bought? Why did you buy that particular model? We'll start with that bit.
Yeah, for me it was Dwarf Rangers. It got me into the game.
Fellowship.
Ooh. Mine was Harad with banner.
The Fellowship box that I got. Oh no, I tell a lie. No, actually, I got. The
Oh no!
But the first
with mine as well.
the first actual models, I didn't officially own them because I bought them for Cole.
Yeah.
For my son, that's how I got into this game. I think I said it before. I got him the Two Towers box set.
Oh yeah.
But prior to that was the Goblins from Battle Games in Middle Earth.
I was going to say the very first one which I got was Gandalf the White on horse from Battle Games in Middle Earth. The first one I went into a Games Workshop and bought was Dwarf Rangers, and that was years later.
Yeah. We got the Moray Goblins because I got subscribed to the magazine for him. Then got him the Two Towers box set when it came out, and then when the first set I wanted for me to paint was the Fellowship. Because it's the Fellowship.
Yeah, so yours was because he's followed on. Why did you buy that particular model? Yours because it's iconic. The Fellowship. You.
I was really interested in Lord of the Rings when the Battle Games in Middle Earth magazine came out, but I'd say Dwarf Rangers was my first knowing purchase that I was getting into the game. Yeah. And I really wanted a dwarf force.
Yeah.
So you bought in mind to build a force around. So
I
just bought because I was a collector and painter for before I started playing when I met you. Yeah.
So I got
that scout hut.
5-hour games.
All night games, wasn't it?
Crazy.
Taking Mark from Chester.
We were Rohan just running around shooting dwarves.
It's mad that things have changed.
That's what I used to think the game was. I was like, wow, it's a big game, this isn't it? It's like 2 days out playing this game.
James, I've got to be up in 3 hours for work.
It was only when I went to Preston that I realised that games weren't supposed to last that long. Because you were dead nice to me when you met me. Yeah. You know, really, really nice to me, and didn't tell me that games should only really last a couple of hours max. Mine was because I loved the Grey Company, and I loved the Halbrad model. I still love. I think it's a gorgeous model. He's also put, if you could use one army for the rest of your days, what would it be and why? I love you both a long time. Well, the 3 of us.
Yeah. For me, it's Wood Elves. They're the one force that interests me the most and would keep my attention the most.
If I could only use one army.
Come on, man.
At this moment,
the right answer.
No, I know what you want me to say, but I'm not going to say it.
Everybody wants you to say it.
Not until they get something else. But
just drop Lake Town.
I'm enjoying. I like Lake Town.
Lake Town.
I like Lake Town. There's just so many options with it.
Yeah.
Do I need to say? Rohan! Obvious. Thanks very much for that, Johnny. He plays a lot of X-Wing, doesn't he? I'm looking forward to him helping out.
Quite good at it as well. Next up, we got Joel Stuckley. He says, "Loving the back-to-back episodes. Sorry. My question: how do you paint orange? I'm trying to paint my Iron Hills with a bright orange shields, but it looks streaky even on a white undercoat. Any advice? Thanks. Start with a brown."
Yeah. Well, you can go. See,
there's 2 ways, isn't there? You can either start light and work.
Yeah, I've only just started going with like a brown base coat for things. But
it works really well.
The best thing that you'll ever do when it comes to painting, and it takes patience, sometimes I don't have it, is you're better off with lots of thin, very thin, almost translucent layers.
What's the phrase? Duncan said, always have 2 thin coats.
Rather than don't try and get the coverage in one go. And even on the second go, don't then just, if it's not covering, whack loads on, just let it dry, and eventually you'll get that smooth, nice, even coat.
It can take a long time, and quite frustrating if you're an impatient person like myself. Yeah. But the times I have done that, it's always so much nicer and much more sort of natural and not streaky.
Yeah.
Sometimes as well, what you learn is that different colours highlight differently in order for you to get the base colour that you want. So just having the base colour that you want and painting it, quite often it doesn't end up looking like the colour you want because of what you have to highlight it to. So having a play with the colours and looking at things like the colour wheel and the like, and seeing what, because I highlight reds with orange, like with a really light kind of orange. I don't use a really light red or like a pinky colour, because otherwise it makes the whole cloak look pink. And there are other colours where you get similar instances. If I want like a leathery red brown, then I have to use a really light red as the final kind of sort of almost soft dry brush for the edge highlight to create that kind of look. So just have a play with your different colours.
YouTube a wet palette. Yeah, and give it a go. Don't be scared of it. But that's really good.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Which one are we on?
We are on Middle Earth.
Middle Earth SBG Island. Alright lads, have you heard any rumours on when the rest of the Ironhill dwarves will be released? Dying to get my hands on that chariot and some dwarves with hand weapons and shows.
Crossbows?
Must be cross. Must have meant to say crossbows. Cheers, Stephen. Well, I'm like you. It must be. I wasn't
Congratulations.
a dwarf collector, and I put that picture on Facebook. I don't collect dwarves. I've got tons of dwarves now, and I need to finish it now. I'm a completist. I need everything. I need it now.
And you have to see in the Ram Riders, the pictures of them come out at the Games Day. Not Games Day, was it? Yeah, it was Games Day. Oh, the Open Day for the 40 World Open Day. I think it would be a missed opportunity if they don't come out as a GT.
That's what we're going to see. That's what we're waiting for, because it feels like a little while since we've had
a release.
Which
is really weird considering that we went making sure we've all got anything.
We're making sure we've all got money when we go. That's
I'm taking my car.
What do you think is going to be released at the GT? Have you got any thought? Have you thought about it?
Ram Riders and the Gundabad Trolls. Surely
that's the last thing that we saw.
Anything else?
They might do a GT exclusive like they did with the Alfred.
Alfred might come back for it.
I think Weathertop as well.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yes!
Money.
I feel Games Workshop have gone a bit too... for the first time ever, I've gone a bit too heavy on events at the moment for Lord of the Rings, because there's 2 GTs and a Throne of Skulls, all within the space of a few weeks of each other.
Yeah.
It's like, I really want to go and support them all, but I can't spend £75 every few weeks.
It's also tough.
Plus the new toys that are going to be released at them.
It's also tough because, of course, the game has kind of survived in the last couple of years through the massive surge of independent TOs
Yeah.
running events and running them regularly. And of course, they are a business. They're not going to take into too much, because I don't care what anybody says. They might think that they do, but they're not going to, because that's not how it works. They just have to work with the slots that they're given, and we are going to see situations where those things clash, and that's a little bit. You want them, and you want to see more of it. So I'm not complaining. I think it's great in some ways, but there is that pang of regret where you're looking and go, well, I physically can't go to that because I'm supporting this independent event, which is the whole reason why this is here in the first place. So there is a little bit of a pang of that. Like you say, there are so many now.
Because we've got the GT next weekend, and then I think it's like the Warhammer World Open Day GT, the Games Day GT.
Yeah.
Like in about sort of 3 weeks after that, and then 3 weeks after that is Throne of Skulls again.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see a doubles
at
the tail end of the year.
The thing, it's like you said, it's a business, and they put the tickets out and they sell out instantly. And so many people say, I didn't get a ticket. So it's in their interest to put it. So I understand it. Yeah. I see it from both sides.
It's just purely selfish.
I
want to go to the more.
Because I'm like you, I won't go to. I mean, I'm not going to the open day one.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to. I'm going to the GT. That's it.
I mean, luckily we've got a great community, in that if we see something there that we want, we can just ask somebody to pick it up for us, and they will do that. And people have done that for me already, and probably done it for you guys as well at some point. Yeah. So that's the only reason we think it's great that obviously there's more options. It's another reason why I personally think that the GW event shouldn't be league counting.
I agree with that.
Because we need to continue to support the independent events, which are the whole reason why
they've got their own honour attached to them. You don't need
exactly.
Yeah, winning a Warhammer World event is big.
It's its own. It's its own.
It's
its own thing. So I think that's how we can continue to make sure that the independent scene kind of keeps that, even though these things are coming up. But I think it's great all the same.
Oh yeah.
I just wish we could go to them all.
That's it. I just want to go to them all. I can't afford it.
Hoping for Ram Riders. Hoping not for Weathertop. I'm not sure I can afford it right now.
I'll let you look at mine.
This week's question to you is from James's Miniature Space. Hi James. He's put favourite models, loadouts. Are they popular, fun, or filthy at tournaments? Building a list based on the Ruin of Arnor recommendations. So Angmar, favourite models, loadouts.
For me, it's my Nomite Angmar. If I was going to get Angmar, so Shades, Barrow Whites, the Duma Lake, Orcs, and Spectres. That's been my favourite used, and was actually much more competitive than I expected, and much less fun to play against than I thought it would be. From what I've heard back from people, I was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I brought this force because I didn't think it was very good."
Shuts everything else down.
It's a denial force.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Stops your opponent playing, don't it?
Yeah.
But I think as well, with the way that our meta is, and probably at some of the points levels, is because there are a lot of heroes.
The heroes didn't get to do what they want to do, and I was like,
that's why people think Magic is broken, right? Because you want to bring Bayon, you want to bring Aragorn, you want to bring Boromir, and then you play in a game and
it's 2 70-point raised and they sap will transfix, and you're like,
or you've got Greeners there sat with your hero, following your hero, and you've not got anything to deal with it. Those things can make people feel a bit sour. But I like Angmar when it's pure, just for the fact that you just take Orcs as well. I think Orcs are actually quite a good profile in terms of it's just a fun, basic.
True.
You don't mind it dying.
No.
Yeah.
Are they popular, fun to play, or filthy at tournaments, Angmar?
I think if it's the Nomite Denial Force, I don't think it's from experience, it's not particularly fun. It's fun to use, but I don't think it's fun to go up against. And I'd say it is competitive, but not top table competitive.
Yeah.
You have to have your wits about you when you're playing it.
Yeah. And we don't see a huge amount of them. You tend to see things from an Angmar list dropped in.
A shade.
Yeah. A shade and maybe some Orc Spears to back up something else.
And a banner or something,
Yeah, exactly. So good luck with that. In terms of recommendations, you want your Barrow White, you want your Shade.
Shade is the first thing you need in there.
Yeah. So next up, we've got Scott Hughes.
No, it's Jamie.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Scott Hughes says, "Hi guys, looking to go to my first tournament, which is 400 points.
Woohoo.
Would quite like to play an all-hero list, as I'm really just playing for fluff and fun. However, will I get smashed, or will I have a chance of maybe winning a game or two? Many thanks, I love the channel." Well, 400 points is perfect for like Aragorn, the twins, and something else.
Twins, yeah. Aragorn and the twins, with the twins
350.
not having armour, is 350. So you...
50 points.
I think you got Aragorn, Boromir, Gondor, and Glorfindel.
Yeah, that's a lot of might. Boromir Gondor's so much fun as well. All heroes, I find it fun. Some people don't like playing against all hero because it can feel like, oh, the heroes have rolled a 6, so they're going to win whatever. But I think
the hero rolls a 6 against the troop, he should win.
And the thing with all hero is it always feels quite precarious. If you lose one hero, it seems to have a massive effect.
It's just dominoes, doesn't it? So you lose that board presence.
Playing as all hero, I think, is a really good way of learning other elements of the game now in terms of where to use might, how to use it, and where things should be in relation. And it can help you with your micromanagement in other games where you're not using all hero. So, 400 points, you can get some decent stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, where are we? Chris Murphy. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Since Jamie is the fitness guru now, with his spinning classes, you should see him in Lycra. What is better to lose weight with, pizza or Chinese?
A bad Chinese. You lose weight from that.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
Full of oil in it, Chinese.
Well, I mean, it'll all be coming out.
Take away Chinese. You go to a nice Chinese restaurant.
Pizza's better, yeah.
Pizza's better if you want to lose weight.
I'll
Have it just after training, then you can justify it.
Just before.
No, not just before.
During.
Don't do it just before. That's not a good idea. We're going to go to the wharf out for sipping a bit of ham and pineapple.
Pizza again.
Just going to go and get a slice of meat delicious out. See me on for this next set.
I'll ask another because that was small. This one's from Paul Tyso.
Oh,
He's thanks for the mention.
Yep.
Yeah. Rider Ring, February the 18th. 24 players, 2 teams, good versus evil. 12 players, podium, the others. Well, someone has to pack away. Right, I'm with you, yeah. So it's 24 players split into 2 teams.
Okay.
Good versus evil, so that's quite cool. February 18th, that's this weekend. Yeah.
It was yesterday. Because this goes out on the 19th.
Alright. Is it?
I've not been speaking with opening question for a while, so it's
Guys, time travel.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
That'd be really cool.
Stuff like that'd be cool.
You don't get a chance to do stuff like that very often.
No.
That's why it's good that we're building a good local scene, because we can do stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just fun things that...
I just think the amount of stuff that's happening in the community at the minute. What I'm really liking is the tournaments. I think they've upped
the game
big time. You see, like the tournaments coming up. I mean, I did it last year with Scar, and I was, posting about the boards and stuff. And everyone's pretty much doing it. Not everyone, but building their own terrain, and that's what I think this game's about for me.
Yeah,
is
playing.
I like the boards to look like Middle Earth.
Well, these things, the Hobbit League did a fantastic job when Harry and I went down there. Yeah. It was beautiful,
and that's what I think. It's grown so much. It's from being just a green table with 5 pieces of terrain on.
Well, it was
unless you've got a Get Out 75 table. I'm so sorry.
But it's something that when we were over at Nova, some of the guys from Steamforge and just in general, like people would walk past the Lord of the Rings boards and be like, "Wow, what is this game? These boards are fantastic." Because we were right next to a 40k and the War Machine board and the Malifaux boards, where it's literally
they're all really generic.
You were a big inspiration for them.
That's a tower. Yeah.
Because the first time that we went to Nova, it was what you would consider like a tournament board, or what people would have considered a tournament board. I think that's massively changed now, which was you had a lot of painted green tables, or just sort of flat set, and then the odd bit of scatter terrain. And there wasn't a huge amount.
2 forest, 1 a hill, 2 rocky areas.
There was a lot of that. Yeah. Whereas the second time, you could see that because of everything that goes on in the community, steel sharpens steel, doesn't it? And when you're looking around and seeing other people doing cool things, you want to do cool. You want to make what you're doing better. And the second time we went to Nova, the boards were incredible.
Yeah.
In comparison to the first. I'm excited for scouting of Cheshire.
Yeah, I'm nervous. I've got so much to do.
You'll be fine as long as you're not doing what happened in the 2 weeks before last time.
Hopefully,
I'm not sure I'll be able to take that much time off this time. Okie dokie. So next up, we have got Matt M. Matt M, my friend in America. But hello, do you think the Grey Company will get a special rule when the Lord of the Rings factions are updated? What rule would you give them?
Well, they've had the Air Army special rule for such a long time. I just think that would become if this army consists solely of.
Yes, they should be 100% bows. Yeah. I agree with that.
I think that they're fine. They don't need a new rule. They've got a rule.
But I think that the having to bring a Ranger of the North I think that will get removed because that is an expensive. Do you think?
No. Maybe Rangers could lead troops, lead four,
Yeah.
like just to confuse everyone even more.
Or maybe the Rangers can lead and their warbands don't count towards the bow limit.
That should be fine.
You know, like the Rangers do.
Because the way it used to be when
5 and lead.
When the in the Legions of Middle Earth era, when that army got its special rule and everything, it was Rangers of the North could lead troops from that, and each one would allow 4 models to ignore the bow limit.
Right.
Yeah.
So you'd end up with an army with a lot of these little heroes and nothing else.
Yeah.
But you'd have 100% bows because you'd have one guy 4 bows, one guy 4 bows, and it was pretty cool.
But I think now it seems like the Rangers of the North seem like attacks when you then compare it to how other armies have got their 100% bows, specifically Rise of Rohan. I think is a good example of that. They've got that for free. They don't have to pay a tax for that. You could say that the Mirkwood Rangers do pay tax because they have to bring their Elven cloak, which makes them, which balances that a little bit. But Rivendell Knights aren't paying a tax for 100% bows, and I think Grey Company. If you bring 100% Grey Company force, and it's the hero, if it's the twins, Arathorn, Halbrand, Aragorn, Isildur's heir, if it's those heroes leading it, and it's purely consisting of Grey Company models, I think it should be 100% bows. Because it doesn't break the game. We've seen it.
I think what would also be cool for them would be to have something like, if it were to change, would be still having those guys lead and break the bow limit, but also to gain +1 to the reinforcements roll, like as an ambusher, like just having a module character.
Get the rule like the goblins, like the ambush.
Yeah, the ambush rule.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot more sort of inventive, out of the box kind of things because
some will get little tweaks and then some will get
big
things.
Well, I think you're seeing it. You'll see it a lot. Obviously, working with a games company now, but you're seeing a lot of games companies that are willing to talk to each other, share, look at each other's games, and borrow and steal and manipulate, not in a bad way, mechanics that they like from other games. And I think
if it makes the game better, it's beneficial to
players. Absolutely, you don't have to be mega sort of conservative as long as you don't lose the essence of what the game is about. So I think that we will see more cool rules along those lines. So thank you very much for that, Matt M. Next up, we've got Devon Bone.
Devon Bone says, any opinion on using Saruman's profile as a corrupted blue wizard in a Harad or Easterling force?
When you're building a force, the theme that you go off, the backstory
inserting something in.
It's up to yourself.
Yeah.
If you can make that look cool and build a little backstory behind it.
Yeah.
I can remember didn't someone get a Goblin King and convert it to look like a giant, like Warrior of Abraham, in order to fit in the Goblin King?
It was when the goblins fled, and that's where they went. And he became a ship merchant.
Shit.
I was like, this is bad, camera! No editing, please. Oh dear. Yeah. I mean, you can create a theme for anything, can't you? You can create a theme.
I'll do the next one as well. Will there be a second annual Middle-earth World Cup this year? Well, the World Cup's every 4 years, so I don't think we'll see one this year.
The channel,
right, Middle-earth World Cup.
I was there and I was thinking, what do you mean?
Yeah, I was
the contract for 4 years. Do you know something I don't know about this contract or what?
Next up is Adien again.
Adien says, yellow. I recently visited a tournament.
It's the same question.
Where?
Oh, it's just the one.
Same question.
So we posted twice and it's mixed up the order.
Right.
Possibly. Okay, so this one here. So he's put an add-on at the bottom now. If you want to.
Oh no, we've not heard anything about siege ladders.
Oh right, he's asked a very similar starting question.
So he says, I recently visited a tournament and a few questions came up. So we have the following situation. Shelob climbs up a room wall and charges an enemy on top. She's not on top of the wall while fighting since the enemy in this case is defending an elevated position and the wall is more than half her height. Does she still get her charge bonus since she treats obstacles like this as open terrain? And if she wins, she probably needs to make an in the way test before trying to wound. And what happens if she loses, backing down 1 inch vertically without penalty, failing on the roll of 1 to 3 as with siege ladders, or does she fall and suffer the falling damage automatically, as in situations where an attacker without her special rule would have climbed up and charged? And since we are in the middle of it, can soldiers give spear support if both the supporter and the supported model are trying to climb up a steep cliff? And if the supported model is fighting an enemy who's defending an elevated position, hope this didn't become too messy. Well, in my head, that's really messy. But
So I think
It was only the last bit I started to get lost, but
I got the last bit. But the shield thing, I think, with anything like this, where it's quite an abstract concept,
yes,
a spider climbing up a wall, suffers no penalties, attacks someone at the top. I think yes, you'd need to roll in the way to get through the obstacle because you are fighting over a barrier. When cavalry or anything charges at a barrier, they don't get their bonuses. So I don't think she would either.
no.
Even though she treats it as open, I think that's more just for movement. Rather than charging.
Yeah. And would you just leave her at the bottom when you wouldn't
just
mess about with that?
You wouldn't bother putting it there.
So she'd
No
back
blue
away.
tacking.
No. And if she loses the fight and has to back away, I think because she treats it as open, she wouldn't have to take falling damage. She always gets a 6 on climbing, I believe, is the ruling. So she would just back her down an inch because she's a giant spider.
Yeah.
Would you have that though? Would you say that she's halfway down this, or would you just have her at the bottom and back her away from the
Just
bottom?
have her at the bottom, and sort of the way I've always done it whenever I've had to climb up something, I always avoid trying to put that in games wherever possible because I think it's a stupid complication to the game.
Yeah.
It just put a dice of how many inches up that terrain piece you are.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I mean, to be fair, it's not really going to come into play that much.
No.
And for spear supporting, they're not in base contact, so no, they wouldn't get a spear support going up.
I'm glad that you're here for that. Brilliant. So next up, that's me. I loved watching the warband skirmishes. Will they be returning for 2017? This is from Red Cooks to 71.
That's Middle-earth's Deadliest Warband.
Middle-earth's Deadliest Warband.
No, I think the Two Towers campaign is going to take up a lot of time.
Someone asked about Two Towers campaign.
We did earlier, we completely
ignored it.
Luffed over it.
You're filming it.
Filming it. The Rohan segment is nearly complete. When that's done, I'll be releasing that because we should be getting some of the Minas Tirith stuff done today with Faramir and his Rangers. And then when that one's ready, that'll be released, and then I've got Helm's Deep to do.
Woo! I'll ask another one. Not sure if I've posted this or not, but congrats on the baby, James. This is from David Murphy. Thank you very much, buddy. I'll ask the next one as well. Okay, so we've got McGarnacle 2016. He's put, thanks for answering my questions last week, guys. This week my question is, how do you effectively combat Iron Hills Dwarves? They seem really good for their points. Start off with that bit. Iron Hills Dwarves.
I think I've been saying it over the past couple of weeks. I was worried about them going up to defense 8, but the shield wall breaks apart so quickly once you engage, and if you force your opponent to move back the inch and be strict about it, shield wall's really difficult to maintain. Yeah. If you let your opponent do the whole, I'll move half an inch back, I'm in base contact with 2 now, that's when it can become a bit of an issue. But just insist, move back a full inch in one line.
Yeah.
And that, as the game should be played, we're all just very lazy with it. And then shield wall's not as good.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to that as well, because you can come across as being a bit gamey when you say things like that in the game, is to try and, if you're playing someone new that you've not played before, try and get out of the way before you start. So say, when it comes to backing away, let's play as it should be.
You have to back. You have to back directly. You have to go straight back 1 inch, don't you?
It's not directly away. It's
in any direction.
It's in any direction, but you must
can't
move a full inch. But you can't curve.
Right? Because I was going to say, because some people do things, don't they, where they go like that.
And let's say this guy's backing away, and there's another guy here. They might back away like an inch, and sort of
curve around.
Like he's got an inch away, but really he should have to go directly the inch back. And it should be the full inch.
This. Good stuff.
Yeah, but it should be an inch away at the end of it. And if they end up sort of like here, they've probably not gone an inch.
Yeah.
I always try and say if you can fit a base. Another base. So a thing is, I've made numerous little tools. It's just a spare base with a pin or a stick on it.
I've got one of the durable ones that's got your inch on.
Yeah.
And
I have a ruler with an inch and I pop that in, and if you can back away, then, and it saves nudging models out of the way.
Absolutely.
But if you say that at the beginning of the game, it will save a lot of drama during the game.
What you got to remember as well is that defense 8 is the same as defense 7 against strength 4, and there's a lot of strength 4 out there. So from that side of it, it's not making a huge difference against crossbows or all the strength 4 armies that you're talking about. So it's not game breaking in that sense. For all your strength 3 armies that are engaging with that dwarven line, like as these guys say, as soon as they start moving apart, that's not too much of an issue. The biggest thing that it counters is elven shooting. It's strength 3 bolts.
All shooting, strength 3 and strength 2 even
strength
more.
2 as well, but specifically elven shooting, having to get the 6x4s to shoot a battle line, that's the main thing that it counters, which ties in quite nicely thematically. But I think when the battle line, I've played them a few times with your Rivendell Knights and things now. The lances. Just
just try and make sure you've either got bonuses like lance, or you're rolling more dice than your opponent, really.
Yeah, or the same the normal things with dwarves. Yeah, if you can knock them over, and you're getting double strikes. Double strikes is massive versus them, and there's so much hurl and sorcerer's blast in the game at the moment. They're not as game breaking as you think.
I think it'd be interesting when they get crossbows.
Yeah.
And they force you to commit to them.
I've recently watched the extended versions of the Battle of the Five Armies.
Never see a crossbow.
I've not seen a crossbow.
Nope. I think it's in the Weta design book.
It's in the books,
and they're big things.
Yeah, it's in the books.
It almost throws like more of a bolt than like a bolt throw bolt than a crossbow bolt. Yeah.
How much would be 2 points?
You exchange a shield and pay a point, I believe.
The good thing about that is you force your opponent to have to chase the game even if they've got bows.
Is it one of the Tysos who converted them and used them?
So yeah.
They look really cool.
He's converted 6 to have crossbows or something. Yeah.
He's a madman.
Yeah, no, I really want crossbows, but I will wait till those models are released. I am not cutting up my Forge World.
I know someone who might do something like that.
Yeah. No, not anymore.
King Bonsai has left us a slew of comments. So
as
usual, and then you can read pieces. So in my last game, using Army of Thrall, I really wish that Dale were still in the Army of Thrall. The Strength 3 bows would really help. It can make them difficult to play. Well, if they were in that list, then you need to go pure, so you wouldn't get the Army of Thrall bonus, and you wouldn't get the Strength 3 bows, because that's... Oh no, wait, it's just an Esgaroth bow is an upgrade, isn't it?
Yeah, Esgaroth bow is an upgrade, but is it the shoot value?
Goes to 3+, and they become allies.
So you could still ally them in.
You could still ally them for the Strength 3 bow. Yeah. But you could also just do elves. King Bonsai, what in the new Hobbit releases make you tremble in your boots? Also, what armies in general do you hope not to come up against in tournaments during some? So what new Hobbit releases make you tremble? For
Azog with the flail.
Azog with flail is horrific.
Awesome.
Azog with the flail
on the White Warg. I feel like after playing against it, I feel that flail should be on foot only.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to try to ride a warg with a big old stone flail.
I know what you're saying, but it is cool to play.
And then when you
it's all well and good if you've got it and you're using it, isn't it? You know what I mean?
But then it's that thing with magic in it. If you come up against a wizard and
it's fair.
The Azog on flail.
For me, it's the Gundabad troll with the gauntlets. The +1 to wound is 4 wounds, defense 8, fight 7. It's a scary prospect to come up against for 100
quite
points.
Expensive.
100 points, I think they were.
100
points isn't that expensive.
It's not that bad, really. For what it is, like.
And how many wounds?
It's 10 points more than an eagle. What would you rather come up against? You know what I mean?
It's the 4 wounds defense.
Well, an ogre's 60, and
But again, lots of strength 4 out there. 4 wounds on defense 8 go down reasonably quick if you win the fight against it. So you just need someone in there that can outstrike. Outstrike strength 4.
Yeah, it costs terror though.
Yeah,
it's getting in there to trap it, isn't
it? Fury, there's loads of fury.
Yeah, for me, it's
Urukai Shaman, loads of Urukai.
Oh, yeah, they'll do it. Yeah,
they'll smash it. Urukai do it.
But for me, it's the +1 to wound, just because.
That's what I mean. Would you? Do you take that risk of trying to trap it? Because then if you lose the fight, it's got 4 dice.
It's 3 dice. 3 dice. Yeah.
Or is it only 3 dice?
That's the same when you go up against anything that's big and scary like that.
But hurling is probably better for most other trolls. With it getting +1 to wound, it's wounding most things on 2s, and because it's Gundabad rerolls 1s against elves and dwarves, which is the horrible thing where an elf hero goes in, fails, and it's like, right, I need 2s rerolling 1s against you. That's what scares me with the +1 to wound on that.
Yeah, I can see it.
And finally from King Bonsai, I think the +1 and -1 for heroic roll-off is a good idea. Helps if you're down on your luck during some.
Yeah.
Finally, Peter Holden.
Now it's a short one. It says, just wondering what you guys would put in an evil all-hero list, excluding wraiths.
Evil all-hero.
I really liked Matt Woods'... What did he bring it to?
He brought it to Skyrim.
Scar
played it.
Yeah,
fortunately, it was at Hold Ground.
Yeah, it's all the Hunter Orcs on wargs. It was awesome. With a shaman on a warg.
Yeah.
That was really good.
A nightmare. Fortunately, all the wargs died to Leyless, but
well, let's look at what are the principles of taking an all-hero good army normally. Okay, so what are the things that make it a decent army when you take all-hero? Now, of course, it differs at different points levels, but usually looking at things like defense 7 is a big thing. 3s in all the right places is a big thing. do they have some form of being able to get +1 to wound?
Yeah.
Is a big thing as well, and fight value. You know, so you look at evil. Bolg is first on the list.
Bolg's in there.
Bolg, yeah.
Azog on the white
Azog
mark
with a flail.
The flail.
with the flail. For
It depends what you want to go for as well, whether you go in for that like competitive or you just want it to look cool.
I think Gothmog.
Yeah,
In that army.
he's sort of your Aragorn.
Yeah, so you kind of you play him around the back of those two.
Yeah.
Because I know he's only 5'5", but he's got 3s in all the right places, and he can counter the heroics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you put a Taskmaster on a work?
No. You changed.
That'd be cool.
Gulliver is always a good shout.
Yeah.
Like he's effectively the fell beast, but fight 8 and strength 8, so hurls for miles.
Yep.
Fight 6, sorry, but can regenerate his wounds.
Yep.
And his 4 attacks basic.
That's good.
I think the new stuff with it being fight 7, you know, all the might, you know, the white warg having the might in there.
Troll chieftains are always a nightmare. If you come up against a couple of them, you're like,
Yeah, you did that.
Do you know what I always struggle
against
against? I hate playing Treebeard.
Yeah, Treebeard's
Oh,
a
you just can't
nightmare.
kill him.
You don't bother normally. That's the thing.
I played. Who was it? I've played that Batrek we did with was it Nige? Remember? Years ago in here. And I was Gondor, and he had Treebeard and Eagles or something.
Did he borrow it off me?
Yeah.
Possibly. I can't
I was like,
remember.
oh my god.
Go check it out.
You know what would be a really interesting thing against all heroes now is the Azog's Hunters Morgul arrows.
Yeah.
You wound them, and then they're on like a countdown clock. Like at the start of the turn, 1 wound, and it'd just be grim.
Is it an auto
Wound.
wound?
If you roll
save
one.
with fate.
It's like a normal wound, so you can save it with fate, but
You end up in a situation where heroes aren't going, I'll just take the wound, right?
Yeah, because you're like,
Because normally you would do that. Unless it's
take the wound, save the fate, but now you're going to take the fate to try and stop that Morgul arrow from.
do you know if
affecting
they take a wound,
Yeah.
does it stop or do you have to roll again next turn?
You keep
Right.
going. They are literally on a countdown.
So you could shoot them
It's
once.
cool.
Shoot them once and kill a hero.
I mean, it's not.
Kill Gandalf.
It's not as overpowered as you might think.
No, it's
but
not.
it's.
No, because you've got to roll. You've got to roll a one.
You got
Yeah, you got to roll one.
You could roll the whole game and not roll one.
But it's something that you've now got to consider with your hero. You're like, right, this hero could 1/1 and wound and just die.
Yeah.
If you get a couple of wounds on from 2 more,
I need to read the rule on it because I've not.
I don't think it'd stack. Surely.
That's it.
Well, Harry said to me it stacks, but I want to read the wording of it, so I don't know for certain. But yeah,
So you could keep shooting a hero, and he ends up rolling 4 dice to see if he gets a 1 each turn.
Yeah, so for
the-
each time that you've taken a wound, you have to take multiple.
the counter of that is that most heroes only have 3 wounds, and if you've put 2 arrows in them and they've successfully wounded, he's got 1 wound left anyway.
Yeah.
But the 2 dice of return would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought it would have stacked.
No,
If
yeah.
it does, maybe that needs a FAQ, and that's shocking.
It will provide
And it's going in
some
my next
epic
list.
moments in battle.
It's going in my next
It will.
list.
If it happens, it's one of those things that it won't happen as much as what you might theoretically
No.
think it happens.
No.
But when it happens, it'll be so
fantastic.
cool. You'll just be like, no! It's like you blubbery
For
maths.
God's sake, brother.
But that's the thing about the new rules.
full of them.
Yeah. That's the thing I found with these new rules. When we got the book, and we were looking at the profiles, we thought, oh my god, look at that, that's going to be awesome, or that's a bit naff.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything's really played out as we thought it was.
So
It's the same whenever you get any new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
I
same
think,
with
I
any new
think
stuff.
Except the Goblin King.
Yeah, he's remained.
He's remained
he's
good.
cool though.
Yeah.
He's one of my favourite profiles in the game.
I think he's cheap.
He is cheap for what he is.
He's cheap for what he does. Do you use him?
Yeah, I use him a
Credibility.
Anything
That's what I do to her.
You've got ace fine.
This is what I do to like Herbalife reps and Juice Plus all the time. Sorry, do you sell it? No credibility.
He's awesome. I love him.
So that brings us to the end of Speak Friend Question 140. Great to have the 3 of us
it's
here
fun.
today.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about this before with there being more hosts. If we can get together and it be more of a discussion like this, where we're around the table, is that something that you guys would like to see a little bit more of, just to break up the format?
Yeah.
I think it's cool. All sat around having a coffee and having a chat about the game that we love. So let's give this a go. Don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe.
Support your hosts in the links below.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter.
Support your Hobbit hobby.
And happy strategy
battle
battle
gaming.